Why do you think there's going to be tomorrow? The future is uncertain. You don't know what it brings. But still, you make claims about the future all the time. Claims like the sun will rise tomorrow. We don't know that, but still, we all think that, we all believe that. Why? What's our rational justification for believing anything about the future? One answer is we look at the past and learn from it. The sun rose every morning in the past, so one would expect that the same will happen tomorrow. And that's basically how we infer the laws of nature. We experiment and see what happens, and we learn from that. We call that inductive reasoning, or simply induction. It is the inference from past examples onto future ones, or more technically, from observed instances onto unobserved ones. But can this reasoning be mistaken? Imagine a chicken living on a farm and being fed every morning. When it sees the person who usually feeds it, it expects food. And it's pretty confident that it will get food, since it was careful to examine the occurrence of food under different conditions. It got fed when it rained, when it was sunny, when there was snow. Whatever happened, it always got fed. So, the confident chicken walks up to the farmer and gets its neck wrecked. So, yeah, regarding past experiences, nothing could prepare the chicken for a sudden shift in the relationship it seemed to have with the farmer. And that's a problem that perhaps most famously David Hume observed about inductive reasoning. It does not lead to true knowledge. Whatever we observe, strictly speaking, we know nothing about what's unobserved. In this instance, the future. We call that the problem of induction, the problem being that there seems to be no real way how we could rationally justify induction. We still might try. For example, one thing to point out is the inductive reasoning usually works. For example, scientific laws inferred from different experiments are usually successful when predicting the future. So was I every time I told my friend that the sun would rise the next morning. But so was the chicken on the day before the slaughter, getting just another confirmation that it will get fed every morning forever. So this line of thinking doesn't seem to answer the problem. Another justification could be found in introducing an additional strategy on how to support your inductive reasoning. Arguably, the chicken made an important mistake in its reasoning. This mistake can be more apparent in the example of a man jumping off a tall building and at the 40th floor exclaiming, "So far, so good." With every floor passed, he got the confirmation that he's surviving the jump. What he fails to take into account is the road beneath, which presents an unfortunate limit to his fall. The same goes for the chicken. If it would observe how the farm works, with several animals disappearing and so on, it would get a clearer picture about its relationship with the farmer. Then the chicken would get less and less confident that it will live another day, instead of the opposite. This strategy of introducing additional considerations into your inductive reasoning is what Reichenbach called cross-induction. Testing or trying to undermine your induction with some available counter-evidence. This is basically what science does all the time. There are certain predictions that come with scientific theories, but then we want to test them or even refute them. Using experiments, we try to examine all the instances where our induction fails to be successful, and in this way we get better, more supported and therefore more reliable inductive inferences about the future. Now we can imagine the chicken that understands its situation better and gets pretty skeptical about its breakfast. Every day it gets more confident that it won't get fed this day. It's important to note that this strategy does not lead to true knowledge either, but it does form more reliable beliefs about the future. We can never know for sure. As said, the future is uncertain. But frequently testing our inductive inferences and predictions about the future, we can make some pretty good guesses about it. The future
is uncertain. Yeah, boy. Now listen up.
There's nothing I could do except for making claims about it. Future, yeah.
Don't worry. Just use your inductive reasoning, boy.